welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UKOCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
You're listening to the 68th most popular podcast, as listened to by people who understand the correlation between Nescafe and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hey, my friend, welcome to the Swift Half again. How are you?
I'm good, Alan. All the better for seeing you.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you. I'm in my new house.
Your new pad.
My new pad. Shall we ask our guests what colour they think that my office is? Have I told them? I didn't tell them last week, did I?
I don't think you told anyone last week, and by guest you mean listener?
Yeah, listener. Yeah, guest listener. Sorry. My mind, the moving house is completely and utterly trashed this week. There's so much to do when you move house.
There really is way too much to do. Listener, I know this is audio, so you can't see the video, but you'll be happy to know Alan is dressed. He's not just sat there eating Cheetos in his underpants. He is fully dressed.
In my pink office, my bright pink office. I'm actually shocked here because I'm still, what is it? We're on 5 days after I've moved in and I've still not sorted everything out. I still haven't got my council tax sorted. I only sorted my TV licence out today. And I've done what have I done? I've done my gas and electric. That's good. TV licence, water rates, got some of council tax. Internet. I've got internet, as you know, because we've got internet on here. Bins. That's another thing. I don't even know what day the bins go out. So every morning I'm looking outside to see who's putting bins out and stuff like that. That's crazy, isn't it?
It is. And one day I want to really mess with people by being that person who puts the bin out first, but puts out the wrong bin just to see if everyone follows and then switch my bins before the bin van turns up.
That is what would happen to me. I swear if someone puts the wrong bin out, it will kill me. It will kill me. Oh, gosh. But no, we're all ready. I think the house has settled in now and Wilson's loving it. Going for walks and things like that. But that's enough about me. Let's get on to some serious stuff. What we're drinking.
Well, Alan, as you know, just before this, I was recording another podcast, so I've not had time to go to the fridge. So I'm using my standard fitness racing beverage of water in a builder. I can't even get words out, listener. A builder. What is this, Alan?
Water bottle.
You're the one who's moved, not me.
What do you keep your water in? A water bottle?
That's what happens when I don't drink.
I think we both need to start drinking again. Yeah, I'm still on the pop. Although pop, I'm on a Brewdog Nanny State. I know you like Nanny State, so I found it in the shop the other day, and I thought let's have a taste of it. It's the first time I've had Nanny State. It's quite nice though.
It's not my favourite of the AF, and unfortunately, it's the one that they seem to have. I think it was their first ever alcohol-free beer, so they kind of are loyal to it. So you'll always get that in most pubs, or you'll have the Punk AF, and I much prefer Elvis Juice AF and Hazy AF. So Brewdog, if you're listening, and I know you're not, but if you are listening, more AF pumps in your pub so we can have more variety.
All right. I called in a pub today, so before we were started recording, I took Wilson for a little walk, and there's a pub not too far from me. £5 for a pint of alcohol-free beer. That is shocking.
That really is shocking. I bet you could have put the alcohol in, it'd been £4.
I very much, it were Heineken. It were nice, it was an alcohol-free beer. But I was thinking £5 for an alcohol-free beer. That is like, I guess it's becoming fashionable, isn't it?
It is, and I've been drinking alcohol-free for longer than most because I go on and off my beer, but I do quite like, particularly on stuff like a barbecue, it's always nice to still be able to keep up experience, keep up appearances by having like a bottle of beer, even if it's Heineken Blue. So I've been doing it longer than most, not gatekeeping, just it's ridiculous how much it's gone up. Never mind what we were talking about the other week about food inflation, alcohol-free inflation. If that is part of the index, it's no wonder we're at whatever we are. What are we, about 6.5% or something?
Something strange like that. It's shocking the prices.
Yeah, alcohol-free must account for like, I don't know, 4% of that, because it must be at something like a 300% uplift in the last year.
Well, do you think there'll be tax on it? Like this tax on alcohol, and so you get VAT and then you get alcohol tax on top of alcohol. Do you think there's like an alcohol tax on non-alcoholic beer?
There be, because otherwise they cannot justify those prices.
All right. While we're talking about beer, Athletic Brewery go to Spartan as always. So let's go into a little bit of Spartan stuff this weekend down in Badminton.
Spartan and Tough Mudder. Don't forget Tough Mudder.
Yeah, but I was going to go Spartan first. But let's go there. Spartan. First of all, I want to know if we can take credit. I want to know if UKOCR podcast can take credit. For last week, we were saying we wanted to see different courses. Maybe a crossover on one or two obstacles, but different courses, different terrain. When we had Graham on, we were talking about Spartans known for running through trees, not just running over a grassy field, and they delivered. This is what they delivered.
They did. Even though the courses kind of tracked the same general area, they had them almost side by side, didn't they?
Yeah, so, one of the obstacles, I've actually told that Kiss and Mud and Barbed Wire Crawl were both on a hill, but one was actually through mud where the Spartan one was on grass. So two different crawls.
I wonder, I presume they stopped people from a Tough Mudder just sneaking into the grass one.
Well, I don't think they did. I think there's somebody needs to own up to it, because I heard that on the Tough Mudder day, a certain person that I know went up the grass course.
Is it someone I know too?
I think it's someone you know too. Could it be another podcast host?
Perhaps it could be. Let's not shame him. We'll let them. Yeah, they've got a episode.
We'll not shame him. We'll let them.
I've tried so hard to be subtle. Oh well, sorry.
No, sorry. What an amazing event they've put on, Spartan Tough Mudder. From what I'm hearing this week, it worked. Different courses, similar obstacles. Some of them went on the same obstacles, but different courses. And rolling mud for the Spartans wasn't as bad as what it was when they went to, was it Beaver Castle? No.
Beaver Castle, it's spelt Belvoir, but to confuse people, it's called Beaver.
Yeah. So there was a lot of mud there, but being told 3 or 4 mounds, that's quite reasonable for Spartan. One of the things I did like about Spartan, though, they didn't send them up Mudderhorn, because that is too tough for a Spartan athlete. They did what all good Spartan athletes do and went over Midi Munner's A-frame.
I think we should clarify they only did that after Mudderhorn had broke, but yeah, the Mini Mudder A-frame saved the day after there was issues on the giant A-frame that a lot of the elite Spartan athletes had to go over earlier in the day.
Yeah, we don't know what happened, but it was probably the right decision. But no, what can I say? One thing I did notice, did you see the start of the elite waves?
On Spartan?
On the Spartan, yeah.
Yeah, I did, but I'm going to let you tell the story.
So, first of all, there was more women than men in the elite waves, which is absolutely amazing feat. And I think that's great. That's absolutely great to get one. But on the start line of the women's race, I saw a man. I saw a topless man on the start line. I don't know if he's run. I've reached out to a few people. I don't know if he actually ran with the women, but he was definitely in the starting pen with the elite women.
I wonder if he got confused.
No, but maybe he did. Maybe he got in there just thinking it was the men, you know what I mean? Because the men nearly always go first. But bit of controversy here. They let the men literally go less than a minute after the women went.
So do we think that's because they're worried because one guy had already gone, or do you think that was always the plan?
I don't think it was always the plan. But if that guy did run, which I think it looks like he did, and I haven't had this clarified, but if he did, then that would make sense to let the men go fairly soon afterwards, because they would have been kicking a bit of a fuss. Oh, there's one guy already set off, blah, 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 blah. it might be first past post. Chip timing might be different, but I guess maybe that's why. But Spartan should recognise that. It's not like he wasn't quite visible in the starting pen, really, was it?
That makes a lot of sense when you mention that, because had that guy had a 5-minute head start and crossed the line first, even though his chip time said whoever was after him beat him, you'd have an argument on your hand.
Yeah. And not only that, but he would have had a clear course. We're talking about the elite men are potentially going to catch some of the women up and not have a clear course.
And I guess there was also the risk that we don't know for sure, and I'm not questioning this guy's morals, but he could have been a significant other or a family of one of the ladies and be planning to help her by pacing her out.
Yeah, and that's just not fair, is it? That's not fair. But no, tell me, hats off to Spartan, Tough Mudder this weekend. What I am seeing is they delivered a great event. I haven't heard much controversy, which is good for a Spartan event, because there's usually a lot of chitter-chatter about Spartan doing something wrong, someone cheating. No, not cheating. Someone maybe not following the guidelines and the rules as well. I do know Michael, we had on the other week, was constantly sharing in several groups rules and things like that before, which is what we want. We want a fair competition. We want the athletes to know exactly what they've got, can and can't do. And he was answering quite a few questions. So a big shout out to Mike on that. Well done for answering them.
I'm going to call out Spartan and Tough Mudder for one thing they got wrong, though.
What did they get wrong here?
They held this fantastic event. First time, I think, in the UK that we've combined Spartan and Tough Mudder. And they held it over 3.5 hours from my house. Why couldn't they have it in Heaton Park?
Yeah, that is the downside. But I was thinking about this the other day. Is 3.5 hours a long time? Because we had people travel all the way up to Beach Ballistic the other day, and they actually travelled 8-9 hours. I'm told, I listened to Who's Hot, and Chris Shipley's talking about 8.5 hours sat in a car with Darren Martin giving him some jip because Darren beat him. That is 8 plus hours driving is phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a wimp when it comes to driving. I used to be the type who I'd do London in a day, no issues, no pit stops on the way back. Yeah, now it's, it might be dark when I get home.
Yeah. Do you like to click the what's the thing, the cruise control? Do you like to click the cruise control on?
I don't think mine has cruise control.
Oh, my new one has. My BMW's got cruise control. I tried it going around some country roads the other day. We're interested.
Oh dear. Oh God. That's the end of that car.
Yeah. No, I have used it once or twice. Just going on like dual carriageways and motorways and that. I haven't had cruise control for a long time. And I think I got a little bit lazy when I clicked it on. So I drove about 5 miles a day on a motorway, and I was like, yeah, I'll cruise control it. And you just find a little bit lazy and that. And my foot wanted to do something, which was strange.
Yeah, this is why I can't drive an automatic car. I don't know what my left foot would do. It would probably stomp a mud hole in the bottom of the car, because I'd just be keeping on hitting it. When we were over in America, they have nothing but automatic cars. And Mike Moussard, who was of the, he kept just glancing over and watching my twitchy leg.
The leg's twitching, looking for the clutch in.
It really was. On Spartan, Alan, have you got the results handy?
Funny you should say that, because I am on the ball with some results here. I will go through the Beast Elite first. In the male, Dasa Scanella, Jason Brunnock, and Luke De Benedictus. In the female, we had Josie Lloyd beating Charlotte Fullshield. And then in third, I haven't got a third place. Why is that not? Let's redo that. Carla Machilla. I hope I've got that right. In the sprint.
So the Beast, yeah?
That was the Beast, yeah. And then there was the sprint as well. So it was the sprint where we had quite a big field of women and that. And we had, in first place, Federica De Carrier, 31.50. 7 seconds later, Regatta Karish. And then 7 seconds after Regatta was Jay Skillen.
Jade, welcome back to OCR.
Yeah, exactly. Going to get a couple of other shout outs of that. In fact, I'm going to go down a few more. So Andrea Berquez was literally 1 second behind Jade. That was the difference, 1 second. Big shout out to Amy Ailes, coming up there in 5th place. Becky Neal 6th. Now, touch on Becky there. She ran Tough Mudder the day before. She did quite a lot of Tough Mudder the day before with Will and running around and things like that. I'll come back to that in a second. Right down to, what was I going to say? And then we had Charlotte Fallshield, Limoni Burke, who's only 15. I believe she's from France. The flag looks like from France. Pip Rainbow, Cheryl Beach, and Adaita Crochet, I want to say. I hope I've got that right. I hope I've pronounced that right. In the male, so Federica won the female, and we had a bit of an Atkinson 1-2, because we had Fergal taking the males in the sprint. So big well done to Fergal. Andy took a great scalp in Samuel Costello, who was in 2nd place, beat him by a minute as well, nearly.
Wow.
That in a sprint, that's a good distance into a minute in a sprint. Luke De Benedictus in 3rd place as well. Good to see Luke coming back on the scene and racing again in the UK. So big shout out to him. I'm not going to go down all the men. I'll give the top 5 out. Jan Vladika and Dasas Ganella in 5th. So amazing out there. So
Dasov's got 5th in the sprint and also won the beast.
He did, yes, he did. So down in 14th place as well, we had Blake Diamond, 19-year-old, coming through. And in 16th, Dylan Bentley, a 20-year-old. So we've got some youngsters coming through there, Ian. So ones to watch.
They're going to push you out, Alan, you know? Put you out to pasture.
Maybe they can put me out to pasture. I'll gladly go out to pasture at moments. I don't mind that. My one win I've ever told you that I've won a Wolves Run once.
It's never come up. Absolutely. It's never, ever come up. But listener, if you want to hear about Alan winning Wolf Run, we'll give you that tease. But yeah, it's never come up on the podcast, I don't think. So get in contact, let us know. If at least 3 people ask for it, we'll tell the story next week.
Don't. You're making me laugh now. Yeah, I know. Right, I was going to mention Becky Neal.
Okay.
So Becky Neal went and did Tough Mudder on the Saturday. Wore a championship bib from a few years ago, which I thought was quite good. It helped her to skip a few queues, I'm told, especially the Funky Monkey queue, because she did Funky Monkey and then went back to the start and did it again, and then did it again, and then did it again. I'm told 4 times she did Funky Monkey because she liked it that much.
4 times? Did no one actually figure out that the bib, even if it was a championship bib, and yeah, you were letting people through, by the 3rd time, you'd think someone would figure out that maybe she's not in a race.
Yeah. You got to love her for doing stuff like that. So big shout out to Becky going there, then going and running on the Spartan on the Sunday. And our good friend Will went and did both, I'm told, as well. I actually I think he did quite well in the age group, from my understanding. I'm going to have a quick look now.
I think he did all right in the Open. While you're doing that, I'll just tell the listeners that we were right with our prediction, by the way, of Tough Mudder's sacked. It was the sandbag carry from Spartan, but apparently it was quite a short sandbag carry, so no one really cared.
No. No one ever cares about a sandbag carry.
But Alan, we're still looking it up. Can I give a shout out to Richard and Jen Hazel, who got their 100th at the weekend, their 100th Tough Mudder. I know we don't shout out everyone who gets the 100, mainly because a lot of times it just passes us by, no one reaches out. But I'm not sure. Do you think they're the first husband and wife to ever get 100 headband?
They probably are, yeah. I think that's. I don't know any other husband and wife's got an headband.
No, that was part of the reason for shout out as well. I think that's quite a achievement.
Yeah. Oh, well done. I just looked at the Sunday Sprint age group, and the first place, Chris Lamb, 29:13. That would have gotten quite high up in the. That would have gotten quite up in the elite. What's Sunday Sprint elite? 29:13. 1, 2, 3. That would have got him in the 6th place.
So are you telling me that our pesky who's hot horse, Chris Lamb, sandbagged and went into age group?
No.
Oh,
Chris
sorry,
Lamb's
no,
not our host.
wrong Chris, wrong Chris. I
You're
misheard
thinking
you.
Chris Shipley.
I thought you said Chris Shipley. Sorry,
No.
Chris Lamb and Chris Shipley. Apology corner early.
I'm thinking, have we changed guests and I've not noticed?
No, in that case, I'm fine with Chris Lamb doing age group. Yeah. If it was Chris Shipley, we'd have an issue. But yeah, Chris Lamb, I think he's been competing in age group all year though.
I think he has. But I don't think he's won age group. I know he's been up on the podium, but he's won the whole of the age group thing. So well done, Chris. I'm glad he's coming back. I hope he comes back and races. He would do well in the UKOCR series.
He would. Are you sure he's not done a couple of races already?
I think he's done some Spartans, yeah. I know he's been to some Spartans, but what I'm saying, it would be great if he came and did some of the UKOCR series. I don't think he's done the UKOCR series races.
Again, Chris, if you have, we apologise. And if you haven't, you can have Chris Shipley's points.
Chris, yeah. Just call it Chris's points.
Yeah, just call it Chris's points. It's fun. Do you remember when Obstacle Racing Media did power rankings and they did the Ryan power rankings? I reckon we could do the Chris power rankings.
Okay. Well, everyone that's called Chris, we're just gonna have the Chris rankings.
We just rank the best Chris's.
So, how many Chris's do you know?
So far, 2.
And we've got Tough Mudder Chris.
We got Tough Mudder Chris, yeah, so that's 3. But yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of Chris's out there. We can do a Chris ranking.
I actually want to now. I'm so tempted now to go through and have a look on the Spartan results and see how many Chris's I can find.
Well, thinking about it, there's at least another Chris who does Tough Mudder. So you mentioned Tough Mudder Chris being Chris James. We also got Chris Hill as well. So yeah, there's at least 4 Chris's.
And I've just seen in 15th place in the age group, we've got Chris Neal. So we've got another Chris.
Another Chris.
I want to go through them all, but I'm not going to go. We're not going to have a podcast based on Chris shouting out to Chris.
Have we got anything else about badminton?
We haven't. No, I've got no more about badminton apart from he usually play with a shuttlecock and not OCR.
Oh gosh, it's going to be one of them nights, listeners. I'm sorry in advance, but yeah. So Tough Mudder Spartan, we covered all the news.
No, I've got some more Spartan news.
Okay, what else?
So on the 26th of June, 2024, if you go onto the Get Run website, they are selling Spartan stadium tickets for Old Trafford. So this is not on the Spartan website at this moment in time, but on Get Run, they are selling Spartan Old Trafford stadium tickets for 22nd at 6, 2024.
Okay. Can I just check? Is it Get Run or is it Get Run with 2 R's and 3 N's? Is this a fake website?
I don't know. I haven't a look. It looks pretty genuine. I don't know. But they are advertising it. Who knows? Let's wait and see. Don't go and buy them, by the way, guys and girls. Don't go to Get Run to get them. But just keep your eye out for the Spartan website is what I'm going to say to people. Maybe the Old Trafford event could be coming back.
Or more likely, on Get Run, they just update the calendar and change the year.
Yeah. Who used to do that? Muddy Race used to do that, didn't they? I think it was Muddy Race. It was just automatic updates. They chose the closest week and just kept on advertising it, which was interesting.
Does Get Run, does it advertise any other Spartans?
I've not had a look. I've not gone that far into it. I just noticed that it was someone sent it to me, so I did have a quick look at it. It's en.getrun. en.get.run. So the en is English version of it. You're gonna have a look now, aren't you?
Well, I am, and I'm just looking at the bits at the bottom. Alan?
Yes.
Do you speak Russian?
No, I don't know. There is Russian at the bottom. It could be a Russian website, Let's think it could be real. Please, come on. Just let me have a little bit of it being real.
The cookie thing is asking me, I can't speak Russian, but I presume it's saying either, do you accept cookies? Yes. Or can I hack your phone?
Oh my God! So I've actually clicked yeah, accept cookies. What you're saying now? I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Anyway, let me just open pray that it's coming back in. Please let me just open pray because I would love to do a stadium event. I did the rat race. What was the rat race one? Men's Health that went through Main Road.
That went to that not Main Road, the Manchester City's stadium, the Etihad.
Etihad, yeah, sorry, yeah, Etihad. It used to be Main Road, didn't it? Well, no, it didn't. But Main Road was Man City's ground.
Yeah, I cannot, in good conscience, recommend anyone even looks at this website, let alone. And I have a sneaking suspicion that Old Trafford might be in Moscow.
I like it. I like it. Talking about websites, though, I have got one that is genuine and I'm going to share it. So sportshoes.com this week, I've got Scott trail shoes on at amazing prices. We are talking sub £50 for 120, 130 pound running shoes. So check them out, guys. If you like Scott, I like Scott. I've got some RC2s. Love them. I've done Tough Mudder in them twice now. I've done 2 Tough Mudders in them. Used them on lots and lots of trail runs. And yeah, really, really good. So check them out. Also, I need to give a shout out to another online company, and because this week my Innovate 280s developed a fault. 150 miles into them, the heel at the back's rubbed away. So I've now got a hole in the back of them. So I contacted Pete Blands. They asked me to take photos of them, took photos of them. Literally within 3 hours, I got an answer back. Would you like a full refund or would you like a credit note? I went, thank you very much. I'm not going to spoil your business. I will gladly have a credit note. Thank you very much. And away we go. So I'm going to buy some new shoes at some point. But that's great customer service. Within 4 hours of me emailing them coming back and saying they want pictures, me emailing them, I got an offer of a refund or a credit note.
You can't argue with that kind of stuff from Pete Blanc, can you?
That to me, that is true customer service. You know, we're not talking a massive company here. You know, they're big. You know what I mean? But we're not talking Sports Direct, you know, or Marks and Spencers. We're talking about a family-run business. So give service like that is second to none. So I did mention them back and said, absolutely fantastic. Thank you. I would give you a shout out. So Pete Blands, if you are listening, that is your shout out. And you know I will use you again several more times before the end of the year.
Right. On the chat about Spartan, I did Google get run Spartan Old Trafford, by the way. That's how I found it. Again, listener, don't do that. Please don't do that. All the way down at number 11, so nothing about Old Trafford, was under fire David Warner, who's a Aussie cricket player, awarded almost £500,000 from Spartan.
No.
But
Wow.
not our Spartan. Not our Spartan.
Is it Spartan the cricket bats?
It's Spartan the cricket bats, but I had to double take because it said the two companies, it's on the Daily Mail, so I'm not clicking. But in the thing, it said the two companies were used to run Spartan Sport, so not Spartan Races.
Oh.
But speaking of Australia, that is a lovely segue to High Rocks Australia was this past weekend.
Yes. All the way over in Australia. Did you go?
Sadly, I didn't go, but I did watch it live. High Rocks Australia did a great live feed on their IG, so thank you to High Rocks Australia for doing that. I quite like this. As the sport's growing, I like using Instagram Live more and more for it because I don't think we're at the place yet, Alan, in OCR or in fitness racing to spend lots and lots of money getting really, really good coverage. I just don't think we're there yet.
Yeah.
But if you can get a steady internet feed, I think it's just perfect because you can interact as a community. That's what I loved. You could comment as the race was going on. Of course, some people were watching the race for the first time, including a few CrossFit fans who were a little bit confused, shall we say. Well, it is what it is. But if companies can make any investment, get a nice, steady internet, particularly if you can do it out at like a Spartan race, and just stream it.
What was the CrossFitters saying? What was the CrossFitters?
They weren't, I'll get to results in a second, but they weren't too happy that, in their words, a nobody was beating their boy, Ricky Garrard.
Oh, right. Right. So they weren't too happy about it.
No, and a few were like, oh well, if this was a lifting competition, Ricky Garrard would beast these scrawny runners. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's why the scrawny runners haven't gone to try and beat Ricky Garrard in a lifting contest.
Yeah.
It's amazing how, I'm going to swear a little bit, it's amazing how butthurt some people can get over little things.
Yeah. There is a little bit of this creeping back into OCR where people are back to pulling things down. We've gone through COVID where everyone built everyone up, and I have noticed a little bit of pulling people down. Not in our group, got to admit, but I have seen in a few other chats where people are having little snidey digs. I don't like it, if I'm honest.
No, I saw a little bit about that when it came to headbands at Tough Mudder, people hitting it, there's a lot of thing of, oh, well, it doesn't count because X, Y, and Z. And yeah, I don't like it. Things like that is personal. And if Tough Mudder recognise achievement, if they recognise that you can hit 10 after a couple of events by doing multi-laps, multi-distances, cool. Yeah, that's Tough Mudder's decision to make. It's their business.
Exactly. And we should be building people up. I was shocked with, I felt at my 100 miler that I did recently, I failed because I'd only done 50. And I was shocked with some of the personal messages I got where people were like, no, well done, you did 50. You should be proud of you doing 50. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no one pulled me down, which I think was great. The community tried to build me back up, which I appreciated. So thank you to everyone who sent me messages privately or on social media.
So any listeners out there, thank you for being part of the solution. Not a problem.
Yes, completely.
So should we quickly go through the Hyrox Australia results?
Give us some results.
Okay. In the men's, in first place, that absolutely nobody was our good friend, James Kelly.
Well done, James.
Who did, he absolutely bossed it, got a sub 60, 59.18. In second place was Ricky Garrard, who did it in 1 hour, 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Still awesome. And Chris Woolley, who's also come to the UK in the past, 1:03.37. So well done, Chris. Moving on to ladies, Olivia Leonard, who I hadn't heard about before the race, did it in 1:10.39. She literally ran away with it, Alan, because I believe she's a runner.
Right.
So I've chatted about this. It is similar to how in OCR initially the runners have a definite advantage because it's almost easier to learn to do the workout stations than it is to learn your running base.
Yeah.
In second place, someone who is well known, Caitlin Van Zyl. I hope I've said that right, but she is a CrossFit Games athlete, having attended 19, 21, and 22.
Cool.
And she was 1:15.51. I chatted a little bit to her after the event. She'll definitely be back, so I can't wait to see how she gets on. And then in third place, the only lady I think with experience, Kim Mercer from the USA, who has done at least one of the Hyrox previously. She beat out quite a few people at the end, so experience came in.
Wow.
And Alan, I've got a little bit of secret for you.
Well, I love secrets. What you got for me?
I happened to bump into James Kelly the other day, and I had my recording equipment with me and got us a little bit of an interview with him pretty much after he'd finished. Maybe a day or two had passed. Do you want to hear it?
Let's hear it.
James Kelly, welcome to Swift Half.
Thank you, Ian. Great to be here once again. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us from Down Under. I'm conscious that you don't have a lot of time, but I am going to ask before we get going, what are you drinking?
I thought this was going to be the first question, and the answer to that is the Builder hydration formula, mate. I'm still recovering from the weekend, and what better way to do it with Builder?
Just like Daddy Hogan made.
That's exactly right.
So you're still recovering as we're recording this. How did your race go?
Race went really well, thanks, Ian. For the listeners, it was the first Hyrox in Australia. First event in Sydney, and it was great. It was a phenomenal event, and personally, it meant a lot to me. Obviously, being an Aussie and being in the sport, for a year now. I marked this event down on my calendar months ago. So yeah, very happy with the outcome, and also very I guess humbled and excited about it in Australia now. Hyrox is in Australia.
Hyrox is in Australia, and they've just sold out Melbourne.
They have, mate. They have. Now that's actually in 2 weeks' time, so it's a very quick turnaround. But yeah, the Melbourne, if for the listeners, Melbourne is probably our capital of sport and fitness compared to anywhere else in Australia. So I personally put it down to that. A lot of people take their health and fitness quite seriously in Melbourne. Yeah, it's only 2 weeks away. So very, very exciting.
I've joked about this to a couple of people. Australia, unfortunately, once again has beaten the UK because, well, it took us 3 events to sell out. It only took you 2.
Yeah, I know that. I know. I actually spoke about this to someone last night, and you can't really compare that though, Ian. And I know you're, I guess, joking as well, because when was the first UK event? Like, it's probably a few years ago. Hyrox didn't have a global name yet. I personally think the Australians have seen or heard of Hyrox the last couple of years. Hence why, there was a sellout on the weekend, and obviously a sellout in Melbourne. So don't feel too bad that we once again beat you at something, Ian.
We won't. So I'm going to talk a little bit about your race, though. What was your race plan going into the race? Because it was a lot of hype. What did you have in mind?
Yeah, great question, because it's been a little bit over 48 hours since the race, and I've concluded that due to the hype of the race being the first one in Australia, due to the other athletes coming over and racing, I ended up subconsciously thinking of this race to be more of a race. Now, what that means to me and what that means to the listener is I was out there to win. I wasn't out there to get the best time ever. Now, yes, those two things come hand in hand, sure, but I was racing the athletes as opposed to racing the clock. And I actually didn't realize that subconsciously until after the race. I do a lot of analysis and thinking about how I go, and I actually journal after my races, and it was just interesting to go back and do that, because I raced, as Hunter says, it was a horse versus horse rather than horse versus course.
That makes a lot of sense, James. And I think people sometimes forget that a lot of times Hyrox is a time trial, but when you come to an event like this, or to the Elite 15, which was your last race, it doesn't really matter about time. It's all about that W.
Exactly. And look, obviously it was the first race of the season, and I wanted to obviously do a good time. And it's not saying that I wasn't time oriented, or the time of doing a sub 60 or a PB, let's just say, wasn't in my thought process. But going back to this whole hype for the listener, for a few months there was a lot of hype around a few of the big name CrossFitters coming over and steal the show. So subconsciously, I guess there was a bit of pressure on me with all that talk. I look back at it now, only 48 hours since the race, and the pressure or the hype got me more dialed in, got me more mentally prepared to do everything that I could on game day to win. And I'm proud to say that.
Again, it can be hard to go from the horse versus horse and course, like Hunter says. You mentioned the CrossFitters. I'll give them a shout out. Ricky Garrard and James Newbury, who had a lot of hype going into it. They were relatively humble about it all. They were just saying that they were going to go in and do their best. I suspect they thought that they'd not walk it, but they'd perhaps find it a little bit easier. In the race itself, you hit the ski erg first, which everyone expected. Ricky Garrard left the ski erg first, but you caught him quite quickly on the run. Can you explain a little bit more about that part of the race?
That part of the race to me was excited when I ended up catching Ricky very quickly, because no discredit to him whatsoever, because he is a phenomenal athlete, an absolute giant of a human being. And I said this earlier with someone yesterday, actually. If he did a 6-month running program, he would be very hard to beat on a Hyrox course. But going back to your question, Ian, he beat me off the ski by about 5 seconds. But how quickly I actually ended up catching him and chasing him down after the ski, it ended up being, I guess, my confidence for the next 52 minutes of the race, because Hyrox is a compromise running race, and my ability to do those two things well on the weekend resulted in my performance and my win, nothing else. There was a lot of, I guess, backlash and talk about my own response to the CrossFitters coming over to our sport. Ian, I'm not sure if you saw, but when I was on the rower, Chris Woolley and I were first and second, and I turned to Chris and asked, "Where's CrossFit? Where's CrossFit?" And obviously the live stream got that. And I guess like it probably may have come across a little bit too egotistical, cocky, etc. But the whole meaning and the whole purpose of me saying that was my competitiveness and my confidence within myself as a Hyrox athlete came over me right there and then on the roller.
I wouldn't worry about James at all. It was an off-the-cuff comment that everyone, as far as I can see, took in good humour. And you're right. It's funny, people don't realise, but had you not been in the race and had Chris Woolley not been in the race, Ricky probably would have won, having had no experience in the sport. That's amazing when you think about it, because experience counts for so much. And a sub-63 in your first race, anyone would pay a lot of money for that, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. He's a phenomenal athlete, and I know for a fact, chatting to him after the race, he's still got eyes on his own prize, and that is being the fittest on earth in the CrossFit space. So you can make sure, or I guarantee that he'll be back in the CrossFit Games, and he'll be doing his part there. And who knows, we might see him back on the Hyrox course as well.
Fingers crossed. Someone once said to me that unfortunately, to be good at Hyrox, you have to get slightly worse at CrossFit. And I think we saw Ricky's weakness, so to speak, was his running endurance, because you don't do a lot of running in CrossFit, whereas the workouts he actually absolutely crushed. But enough about Ricky. Yourself, James, you had a great showing. What's next for you?
Is a big move over to the UK and Europe, and then cementing ourselves over there to be able to race and to coach in Germany, actually.
We can't wait to welcome you here. In particular, my good self, because I know as me and Alan are recording this, it's early for you, so it'd be great to be very close to the same time zone one time.
I know, Ian. It's interesting. We've probably spoken on a podcast maybe 4 or 5 times, and all those 4 or 5 times we've had to really make sure that the time zones or our timing is precise. But in 2 days' time, mate, it'll be a lot easier.
It was. I can't remember if I asked you this. Georgie, over the weekend, she also had a great weekend. She went and did the City to Surf, I believe.
She did. She did. Georgie's loving her running at the moment, her long distance running, and City to Surf in Sydney is it's actually the largest fun run in the world. I think there was 80,000 people that actually ran on Sunday, and she did a tremendous job. Her and my sister ended up running together, and they absolutely smashed it.
And all she needs to do now is 100 wall balls at the end, and she can team up with you, James, for mixed doubles.
That's exactly right. But you know what, Ian? It's funny. It was Georgie's first time witnessing a Hyrox on the weekend, and I just don't think she'll ever want to do one.
They all say that. I've lost count. Me and Alan have lost count of the number of people who have come accompanying us to support and to do media. I don't think a single one of them has not signed up for a Hyrox yet. So there is hope for Georgie, James. Don't worry.
I know. I got a feeling she might want to do I'm hoping a mixed doubles with me one day.
James, it sounds like you need to pack. But before I let you go, is there anything we've not covered?
No, once again, thanks, Ian, for quickly having me on, and looking forward to being in your neck of the woods very soon.
Can't wait to see you here. Listener, if you want to hear more about James, check out the Fitness Racing podcast. There's multiple episodes with him. And more importantly, look him up on YouTube. Him and Georgie have a great show that I think is 6 or 7 episodes at the moment. So go and check them out.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, it's called The Hybrid Hub.
You can probably be James's 3rd or 4th subscriber after his mum.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right.
And after me, of course, listener. Right, James, on that. Goodbye, James.
Thanks, Ian. Appreciate it.
Good interview, Ian. I like that. I like listening to that. What else has happened in the fitness world?
Well, this weekend, we have got the first ever Deca Fit. I mentioned this the other week. Clitheroe this coming weekend, first ever Deca Fit. And also, there's a Deca Mile, I want to say, going off at Caveman in Stoke. No, I'm wrong. It's a Deca Strong going off in Caveman training in Stoke-on-Trent. So hopefully people can make it there. I don't think this is quite fitness, but we've got OCR games as well happening this Sunday, Alan.
Yes, we have got OCR games, and we're going to have a Who's What. So if you're listening to this now, yeah, you're actually going to get a Who's What episode in the afternoon. So if you're listening to it on a Friday morning, on Friday afternoon, we're having a Who's What episode as well for OCR games.
And does that have the pesky Who's Hot team, including Chris Lamb?
Including Chris Lamb, I believe. Or Chris Neal, or Chris Woods, or it'll have one of the Chris's on there.
I'll have a Chris on. Perfect. Yeah. And mentioning about fitness racing, that brings up one of our partners in Builder, Alan. And you and me have been having a think, haven't we? Firstly, Builder were very generous and gave us a tub of their power, which we did as a competition. And well done again to Kelly Sidebottom, who won that. Thank you so much to Kelly. And we were thinking, we want to put our hands in our pocket, don't we, Alan?
We are going to put our hands in our pocket, Ian. We are going to reward the Patreons.
So how are we going to reward the Patreons?
So we have 3 tiers, okay, in our Patreon scheme. We have a £2 tier, a £4 tier, and a £6 tier. Everyone who is a Patreon on the 30th of August, so that is just over a week's time. Everyone who's a Patreon at that time, if you are a tier 1, which is £2, you will get 1 ticket entered into the raffle. If you are a tier 2, you'll get 2 tickets. And if you are a tier 3, you will get 3 tickets entered in. So that means people can still join. So if you want to have a go, you can become a tier 1 for £2. You will get your name in the hat. And we are going to pull out one of those names to win a tub of Builder Hydro.
We'll do Builder Hydro, and you can even pick the flavour.
You can even pick the flavour. We will do it. But you've got to be a patron by the 30th of the month. Midnight on the 30th, I'll do the draw. We'll do it live on, with names and all that lot. But yeah, IG or we'll do it on, I don't know, we'll do it on Facebook or IG, but we'll do a live video for it.
We'll do a live video. This could be fun, listener, for no other reason than to watch Alan do a drawing names out of the hat live on something. So yeah, try and make it as hard as possible by joining in, please, if you can. And yeah, this we will say this competition is not sponsored by Builder. It is sponsored by the Bank of Alan and Ian.
Yes, exactly. We want to say thank you to. We'll say thank you to our patrons, don't we? That's the okay. So we're going to say thank you to our patrons.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've done something for them. I think the last thing we did was we sent them out patches.
Yeah.
So we often talk about how you get extra things. This is an extra thing.
Yeah, this is an extra thing. So, what else have we got some Decker coming up? You've popped Decker on here.
I did, and I just went through it, Alan. But but I did confuse you because I also put above that the Builder Summer Party that's been announced.
Yeah.
Which would have made a lot more sense having that as a segue into the competition. But anyway, we'll go with it. Sometimes it doesn't work.
That's where I thought you'd lost me.
So Builder Summer Party, it's in London, but they're having to celebrate their 1 year anniversary. They're having a whole day of events. I believe most of them are free. You might have to, I don't know, buy your own coffee or buy your lunch if you decide to spend the time with them. But I think it starts with the morning with a bike ride using the Boris bikes, which could be really good or really bad. Towards lunchtime, there is a workout with WIT. There's a 5K later in the day, followed by, I want to say, ice baths and maybe saunas, but definitely ice baths. And they roll out the night with, well, what was formerly your favourite part of the night, Alan, before you went to your total? Drinks.
Wouldn't be the same without Tom doing drinks, would it?
No, without Tom Hunter doing drinks, it wouldn't be the end of the Builder Party. But yeah, head on to their Instagram. There's a post about it. We shared a story about how to join it on the UK.HXR. I think numbers are limited for the ice baths and the WIT fitness, so make sure you RSVP. And again, that is Monday, I want to say 28th of August, which is Bank Holiday Monday.
It's Bank Holiday on a Bank Holiday coming up, haven't we? How good is that?
We do indeed. Alan, we talked about Builder. Let's keep with the bees. British Obstacle Sports.
Yep, some news coming out from British Obstacle Sports. Blast and Blackout. So that's Nuclear Blast and Nuclear Blackout 2023 are going to be OCR European Championships qualifying waves. Nuclear Blast and Blackout qualifying waves for the OCR European Championships. We have also got some news coming this week. I can't give too much about this, but because I've been moving house, I got Will to do a Q&A with British Obstacle Sports, and I am told there's going to be some breaking news coming out on that podcast. So next week, Will is doing a Q&A with British Obstacle Sports, answers as many questions as he can, and yeah, there's going to be a bit of a breaking news story.
I really wish that I had time to put another question on, which was going to be, should there be suspension of membership for people who avoid the mud and kiss of mud and go and do the grass barbed wire?
Who would do a thing like that?
Can't think of anyone off the top of my head. But James, I know you listen. Can you get in touch and just let us know if that'll be official policy going forward?
No one would be willing to do that, would they?
No. Although sometimes, Alan, where there is a will, there is a way.
Totally, yeah. If I did that, I'd actually go and make a will me because I'd be that frightened that someone might retaliate.
You really would, wouldn't you? You really would. And I've got to say that these puns are getting atrocious. So let's move on to the Scottish OCR series, which wrapped up 2 weeks ago, but the results are out. Alan, do you have them, or do you want me to go through
them? I know the winners. I think I know them, but I'm not 100%. I couldn't get them all in the right order. So if you've got them up, I'm going to let you do it.
I'll go through the ladies first. In first place, Sandy Pow. And Sandy Pow was also first place of Masters as well. So well done, Sandy.
Well done.
SBF Fitness is her team.
Yes, that's right.
Then second place, we had Kate Stillwell of Nuclear Phoenix.
Yeah.
And in third place, we say his name a lot, Karen Macquarie of Fit Body Farm in third place. I'll go down to 5. We went down to 5 earlier. Fourth place, Libby Joyce of Obstacle Mud Run magazine team.
I think he's in Morzine this week, by the way. I think they're in Morzine this week.
I think they are.
Yeah.
It looked like fun, actually, to be fair, other than the long trek over there, from what I hear, with the plane ride. But yeah. And in fifth place, a name I've never heard of, but she's part of Fit Body Farm, so I do apologise. Anna Wade.
I know her from the Who's Up when the Who's Scott. Then they've named her when she's been up there, but I don't know her personally. No.
Right, we'll go to the Masters of Sandy Power, who I mentioned. Second place, Susan Jarman of Norteam. Third place, Sancha Martin of, she's not got a team listed, but Scottish OCR.
Yep.
She is a big part of the Facebook group. Wendy Brothers, good friend of the show, Field Fit, was in fourth place. And in fifth place, Tamar Barkley, who managed to get fifth place, having done just one race.
Yeah, me too. I just went up just for that one race, didn't she?
So I said Tamar. Sorry, yeah. Tamar. I always do it. Male standings?
I believe Russell took the title quite convincingly, didn't he?
Yeah, Russell Walls, freestyle OCR, 3 races, 1,500 points, sort of clean sweep, basically. Craig McQueen of Scott Brown Fitness was in second place. Our good friend Gavin Hogarth of Fit Body Farm, third. Fourth place, Ramunas. Do you want to say his surname?
Wickis.
Ramunas Wickis of Field Fit was in fourth place. And Ricky Carino of Fit Body Farm was in fifth place. In the Masters, Craig McQueen of Scott Brown Fitness took the title. Ramunas Wickis was second place. Ian Ross was third. Stuart Caldwell of Scott Brown Fitness was fourth. And then Colin Campbell was fifth, mate.
Oh, Colin. Well done, Colin.
Yeah. If he wasn't wasting his time during your 24 hours at your farm, I reckon he would have done even better.
I think I love Colin. He makes me laugh all the time. One of my favourite characters in the OCR scene.
I want to point out, in the male Masters, Ian Ross was 1:07.5 in third. Stuart Caldwell was 1:06.9 in fourth. And Colin was 1:05.7. How tight is that?
That is close. That is super close. Yes. Well done to everyone in the Scottish Series. The first one. Go on, sorry.
Teams?
Go teams, yeah, sorry.
First Fit Body Farm took first place. Second, Scott Brown Fitness. Probably no surprise, being that they are massive OCR gyms in Scotland. Third, Rumble Racing. Well done, Rumble.
Wow.
It's quite interesting because I didn't notice as I was going down Louise Ferryman of Rumble Racing was in the Masters, but they must have just had a lot of people who did well in individual races, because they did 7 races and they got 2,775 points. So well done, Rumble. Fourth, Nuclear Phoenix, and fifth, Field Fit.
Well done to everyone. I was going to say a big well done to the organisers, Lindsay, British Obstacle Sports, everyone else who's got involved in making this happen. The inaugural season, I know they're planning on next year already, which is great. They're ahead of us at UKOCR because we haven't quite got around to the whole planning side of it yet. Although we have contacted a few races, we haven't quite got the list out yet. But a massive well done to them all. And interesting. It can only grow, Ian. It can only grow.
It can only grow, Alan. I know we've got a few things left on it. I'm going to move the thing that Will asked us to put on. Let's discuss that next week, because I think it can be something that, it's a evergreen topic.
Yes, definitely. I like that one.
And should we just go over what's coming up soon?
Yeah, first of all, let me just talk about the Ninja Sports UK League event. The next one is at Obstacle Training Ground at Basingbourne on the 1st of the 10th, 2023. And tickets are on sale right now. So if you're into the Ninja Sports stuff, Basingbourne, wherever Basingbourne is, I don't know where it is, somewhere down south, I believe. But tickets are on sale for the 1st of the 10th, 2023, on sale right now. And coming up.
Well, we were laughing about this before we came on. This week, Ken, you've got Decker.
Yeah.
and not much else.
Nothing.
The weekend after, there's not a lot, I don't believe, or if it is, it's not an OCR buddy.
Exactly.
So you can go to the Builder summer party, I guess. And then on September the 2nd, Alan, what's happening?
We have got Wolf Running Warwickshire the whole weekend. We have got Summer Nuts the whole weekend. On the Saturday, we have got Goodwood Inflatable 5K. And we have Rat Race Man v Mount, which I'm excited about because that's where I'm heading.
Yeah. So yeah, once again, I suspect it's due to summer holidays, but it didn't half make us smile thinking once again that we're having a couple of free weekends and then not much. And the weekend after September 2nd, we, of course, have got Tough Mudder Northwest.
Yes. But the bank holiday always used to be Overloads weekend. It's been Overloads weekend for many, many years, but we always clash with other events. The year that we decided not to do it, it's a free week.
It's funny when you think about it, Alan, but yeah, obviously what happened was all those other races thought they couldn't compete with Overlord and therefore changed it before you'd before you'd repurposed it as being the Farmyard Jam.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Talking about Overload, my website is back up and running at long last. We have got the SSL, CCL, whatever it is, tickets again. So whatever happened that caused it to crash 3 weeks ago, it's now back up and running on Overload. So yeah.
So make sure you buy tickets fast, listener, because there's a good chance that given what Alan clicked on earlier in the episode, it will be down again by Saturday, taken over by the Russians.
Guarantee. What's coming up on UKHXR podcast?
Next week, Alan, we interview someone who hasn't actually done a High Rocks, but is a well-known person within the general fitness community. They've got an IG alongside his, I believe, wife now, called the Not So Fit Couple. But what they've announced, Alan, is they have an app called My Coach. Have you heard of My Coach?
I think I have heard of My Coach, yes.
So they have this fitness app called My Coach, which I think it's 40 quid a month, but they've added High Rocks workouts and are officially licensed to deliver basically online programming. So we go through it all. It's a really interesting episode because he doesn't pull any punches when it comes to fitness industry. Sometimes, obviously, it's our show, so we don't go and call people out.
Yeah.
But there's certain things like whether coaches or whether PTs are the correct people to be giving nutritional advice.
Oh, right.
So we go off on all sorts of tangents. The main part of the episode is to talk about the app. But if you are a fan of the fitness world, definitely give a listen because he's got some quite interesting views about various things.
Cool. I downloaded the other app that you sent to me the other day, the Flex Change. We said use the code UKHXR, which we're going to be sharing quite shortly. Looks interesting. You work out and you get entry into free prize draws and things like that.
It is, yeah. You win points. So all you've got to do, Alan, is you download the app. You then obviously use the code UKHXR when it says support your fitness professional. And yeah, then when you're working out, you just click the timer in a gym that should be on the app. And if it's not on the app, get in touch with them at the moment for our listeners. They'll put any gym on.
Right.
And yeah, you can work out for up to 30 minutes. You get points for it. The more points you get, the more things you can buy.
Like it. Can I put my own gym on it in the garden? Can I put my gym garden in?
If you can give them a Google URL, yes.
I can create a Google URL.
No, you can't. You've just been hacked.
Yeah, that's true.
Alan, what's on UKOCR?
Well, we've got a busy schedule. So we have got, British Obstacle Sports, Q&A coming up. I'm going to assume Who's Hot's coming up very, very shortly with a preview to Summer Nuts. And I've also got Matt Roberts that talks very much about nutrition. So interesting you mentioned nutrition there. But coming up, I think it's in 2 weeks now, I've got Matt Roberts that talks about fasting, the benefits of fasting, as well as the benefits of eating healthy food compared to sugars and man-made products like that. I found it very interesting, especially because I'm fasting quite a lot at the moment. So yeah, I found it super interesting. I think the listeners will like that as well.
I can't wait for that episode. I always like when Matt comes on, and you mentioned it the other week. He's got his own podcast now as well.
He has got his own podcast, yeah. The OCR Dominators. I've listened to one or two of them as well. So good interviews and that. Yeah, so wish him luck, all the best. And I think he's going to grow it quite well. He's got a big audience in the OCR Dominators and that. So I think he gets some good guests on. He's had Joseph Lloyd already.
Who is an excellent guest.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Right,
yeah.
Alan, and on that, I'm going to say it's a goodbye from me.
And listener, thank you once again for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's a goodbye from me. You take care, you stay safe, you keep on running. We love you all. Bye.